What's up, Sock Drawer? So I was minding my own business a couple of days ago. I was just playing some ranked the other night, which was going fantastically, by the way. I was playing ranked, minding my own business, when I happened to get an email from a subscriber, an email that caught my eye, and the email read like this. Hey Ross, there's this guy who instant live streams it, and he gets like 12 viewers a stream, at least from what I can see, and he talks about how he never once got punished for doing this, and he has been doing it for a decent amount of time. Anywho, he rode my promos into Bronze 2, which for me was a very big step, and after this experience, seeing him just say stuff about how everyone on his team deserved to lose because they aren't in a high elo already, and how his chat agrees with him, it really hurt everyone. Especially when he spams his stream link in the lobby and talks on everyone in the game because they're not already in high elo. This guy, his viewers, and the message he sends really puts the nail in the coffin for me when I think the community is just going to. I'm informing you about this because you seem to be one of the only people who would bring this to the attention of a larger audience. We can't let people like him get big and spread. Thank you for your time, Jesse. So obviously, this is quite an interesting email for me to receive, and I think most of you guys, if you got an email like that, you'd probably take a quick look at it as well, have a look at the stream as well, right? I mean, I clicked on the stream, and I was expecting this kind of raging man baby who's just off, and he's not actually like feeding all his games. He's just like angry at his team and he wants to take out on somebody. But what ended up happening was kind of bizarre. So as you may know, about a week or two ago, I posted a video. Now if you haven't seen that video yet, if you haven't checked it out, I'd recommend you have a look at it. There'll be a little eye that comes up in the top right of the screen. You can click on that. There'll be a card that you can have a look at. The video will give you a little bit more context. If you got to pause this video just to take a quick look at it, I highly recommend it. But to sum up the video, if you can't be bothered, I just talked about how there was a very abusable flaw in the banning system that Riot has, and I followed the tale of two Korean players who would intentionally feed and throw games every single game that they didn't get the champions that they wanted, but they would do that in a way that was completely undetectable. And I mean completely undetectable. Like, no bots would pick them up as inting. If someone reviewed chat logs, they would not see anything wrong with it. The way that they did this was by playing champions like Nunu, Anivia, Trundle, Tam Kench, and what they would just do was throw people into the enemy team with Tam Kench, or they'd wall their team off in team fights and just let the enemy wail on them and stuff like that. Things that you, as a person, could easily see as throwing and trolling, and you would report for that and that'd be fine. But unless you have the context of actually watching the game, it's impossible to be able to detect. So a bot can't tell if you accidentally walled off a teammate or not, so it's not going to ban you for that. But you obviously, as a player, can see what they're doing all game. You can see that that is obviously them doing it, but there's no way to do it because there needs to be human injection in that. And that's where we come to our friend here. So I'm not going to be giving the link to his Twitch stream because I'm sure you can understand why I'm not particularly wanting to give any attention in the form of viewers to the player, even if it is negatively. But I went to his stream. I went into his stream and I spoke in his chat and I was talking to him and I asked a little bit about exactly what was going on, and I'll let him put it into his own words for you. I'm going to blur out his face as well so it's completely undetectable who he is. But here he is.
But okay. I've been doing this for a while, so I'm a professional. I'm a professional inter. I'm a professional inter. So basically, what I'll do is I'll like run down mid 3 times, and then I will just AFK farm the rest of the game. I give them, the max gold, which is probably like 3 or 4. I do it no detection rate, 0 detection rate, unless Riot manually banned my last account on stream. So we'll have to do it very. We'll have to do a little hush. Israel, go in, Israel. Go. You had her. Aw, man. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go bot. I'm just going to take all his farm, and I'm going to AFK until I get my items, which are these, and then I just sit in the jungle and I AFK, farm the junglers and stuff. Normally I like to bring Smite on whatever role I take. I just leave Smite on. And if I can, I'll steal the first camp, but this game I just wasn't really paying attention, so... And what I do is basically, like, even if somebody like a rider did go over like a manual detection of my accounts, where's the proof? Like Israel's already 0 and 2. They're already not doing that good. I'm just doing a bit worse than them. I'm not doing like extremely worse. I'm not gonna like fully run down mid. Okay.
So he is fully aware of how broken the system is. Now, when I first caught this person's stream, I've been looking at this person's stream over the course of a few days before I made this video, just to check and see if he was in fact actually going to get banned, and there's nothing. So they were around Bronze 2 when I started watching. As of recording this script, they have managed to demote themselves to Bronze 5 and have thrown around 40 games in the space of 4 days since I started watching. The way that he trolls though, deeply highlights a problem with the system though. He openly said before I started recording his stream that the only way he'll ever get banned on this account is if it somehow ended up on the front page of Reddit, or got a lot of attention on something where a rioter might actually watch it and manually go and review that account. And you know what? He's actually completely right. His usual method of trolling is by running it down mid a couple of times and then just AFK farming in the jungle. By the end of the game, his score is bad. Yeah, sure it's bad, but this is deep into bronze we're talking here, so it's not completely out with the realms of possibility that the player is kind of just bad. You can't just ban a player for being bad, and especially at elo that low, especially where he is right now in Bronze 5, people die early all the time. Nobody's going to get banned for that, especially if he's not necessarily flaming or talking in chat. And he isn't exactly a bronze player himself. I think he's hovering around the gold region, but still he knows how to stay alive if he wants to stay alive against bronze players. So what he'll do is he'll give a couple of kills to the mid laner, which will end up snowballing that lane, and then he stays alive, which kind of leaves his team to deal with characters that are probably going to kill them. So he'll end up like farming AFK in the jungle, or just staying in a lane and playing really safe and passively and just farming. And by the end of the game, his score actually ends up looking pretty normal in comparison to his team, and it just kind of looks like a bad game. So he'll be like 0-3, but his mid laner will be 0-2, top laner 0-2, jungler 0-2, whatever. He tilts his enemy team because he's not tilted at all, because he's inflicting the tilt. He can play smart if he wants to. He can just chill back and let his team die, and they're obviously really angry and upset, so they're going in, they're dying, and they end up sometimes, in the case of what I saw, end up having a much worse score than he does, because he gave them their lanes early kills. And you know, if a Riot bot looked at that, if a ban bot looked at that, it's not gonna ban that, right? He doesn't particularly flame either, and he just pretends to be like a new player in ranked to throw off the chat system. He isn't running it down mid all the time. If he isn't running it down mid, he'll just AFK farm in the jungle and let his team fall apart without him. He has had a good few games where he's actually done well on paper. So what he'll do is he'll intentionally not ever try to team fight and leave his team 4v5, and then occasionally he'll come down and pick up the kills after a fight is ended. So he'll maybe, like if bot lane are fighting, he'll move into bot lane after, he'll pick up a couple kills there, and he'll maybe end up doing pretty decently, but he'll never ever push for objectives, he'll never ever try and push lanes, he'll never ever try and take towers or dragons or anything like that, and he'll never participate in team fights. He'll intentionally be near the team fights so that his team will engage, but when the team fight actually starts, he'll pull back and let it be a 4v5. Now, as I said, I actually spoke to this person, and honestly, if you guys are interested in an interview with this person, let me know down below, and let me know any questions that you'd be interested in me asking him, because I think this is a good opportunity to highlight the issues with the ban system, and I'm using this excuse, this video, as a big excuse to talk about the ban system, which has some kinks that need to be worked out. And if you do want to ask him any questions, I would really like it if you try and make them semi-serious about the problems with the system. It's all well and good to ask him, why are you an asshole, but this person probably knows better than any of us how easy the system is to abuse. But funnily enough, he seems quite receptive to me actually trying to help fix it. I mean, he's still an ass, but I mean, he's probably heard it 1,000 times at this point with the amount of games he's thrown. So I don't think us calling him an asshole one more time is particularly going to make a difference. So if you want that interview, let me know down below. While you're at it, quick reminder, you could probably like this video if you want. Funniest thing about all of this is the fact that he's not only gotten key fragments for keeping it sportsmanlike in games, but he actually sent me a screenshot of him hitting level 3 honor from playing these games on this account. Unfortunately though, I'm not really 100% sure how this is stoppable. He's openly said on stream that he has multiple accounts, dozens and dozens of accounts that he can have access to, many of which are cracked or stolen. He is fairly undetectable as is anyway. I mean, he's streaming, so he shouldn't be undetectable, but apparently he is. He has VPNs that he can utilize if Riot tried to IP ban him. And going back to a little bit earlier, when I asked about it in Twitch chat, it almost did feel like he thought he was trying to do Riot a favor by streaming the to get attention to a flaw in their system. He said that he loves the reactions he gets, and that's a big part of it, but it wasn't some raging man baby, which was really not something that I expected. I was incredibly surprised how calm, collected, and actually bizarrely logical this person was about the whole thing. Like, this guy has got int feeding and throwing games down to like an art form. Like, it's insane. Like, how, I mean, if you look at his match history, you'll see that he's obviously throwing games, but in that one game time frame, if you don't check his op.gg, if you don't check his previous games, you would never suspect a lot of the time. If you cut out the first few minutes of the game, if he does, like, usually if he jungles, he doesn't run it down mid, but if he just like cut out the first couple of minutes of the game, you would never be able to tell, really. You would just say that. I mean, I do bronze spectates all the time, and I've seen plenty of people do this in my days. So I've been doing it for 2 years. I've seen plenty of stuff. I've seen people do far worse, feed far harder than this guy, and I wouldn't say that they were in feeding. I would just say that they were having a bad game, and that's exactly what the problem is. It's hard to tell, but it is being abused maliciously, and players are suffering for it. It's pretty obvious this guy is doing this for his own kicks, but actually, it's hard not to agree with him on a lot of the points that he makes on the system. Unless a Riot employee actually manually reviews the game, things like this are impossible to detect, and it's not even as if he's hiding anything. His stream literally says inting bronze and inting feeding in bronze in his title. But obviously, Riot don't have that many employees that they could put on this, so something maybe needs to change. I have no idea though. This is a whole mess of a situation, to be honest, and it's a bit of a mess of drama as well. But guys, why don't you keep vigilant? If you do happen to see things like this, I'd really ask that you make sure that you use the support ticket system in League of Legends, that you make sure you record clips using the replay system as well, and then make sure you include those clips from your replay in the support ticket that you send if you happen to report players who are doing things like this. I have no idea how widespread this kind of trolling is. I've seen a good few accounts of it, especially in the last few weeks. But I would love it if you had anything like this, if you'd love to share your experiences with people that have done things like this, if you want to tell a story in the comment section so I can see how many of you guys have seen trolling like this before, yeah, let me know in the comment section. But beyond that, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you did make it to the end here, I'd love if you dropped a like on it, if you enjoyed it. And if you're new, want to join the sock drawer, I'd love it if you subscribed as well. Regardless, guys, thank you very much for watching. Take it easy. See you later.